I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but I am a new father. My son's about to turn 1 year old, and I have a newfound appreciation for grab-and-go meals. Today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious, cheesy tater tot breakfast casserole. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen.
Seasoned all the way through, crispy, flavorful.
Alright guys, today's theme is grab and go. So what we're doing here is making a meal prep breakfast. For that we need to prep our veggies. We have some bell pepper and some onion. Feel free to get crazy and add whatever you got in the fridge. You can throw some mushrooms in here if you want to. Trying to sneak in some extra veggies on the kids. You could probably mix in some spinach, things of that nature. But today we're going onion and bell pepper just to keep it simple. Go ahead and peel the onion. Get that prepped. Prep our bell pepper. I'm going to dice these nice and fine. We're going to mix them in with our breakfast sausage. You can customize this to your personal preference. You can use turkey products or beef or chicken, whatever you got. Today we're using pork. Shout out to the Pork Patrol in the comments. All right. For my bell pepper, I like to slice around the core, leaving the seeds intact because the seeds tend to make the cleanup a little bit messier. So I like to cut around it like that. We got all usable bell pepper and we can discard what we don't want.
And this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a meal kit service that delivers step-by-step recipes and fresh, pre-portioned ingredients right to your door. You can choose from 50 delicious weekly recipes carefully put together by their chefs. There are options for carnivores, vegetarians, calorie counters, and more. One of my new favorite features with HelloFresh is the Build a Plate, which has recipes with options for everyone. HelloFresh's new Build Your Own Meal feature lets each family member customize the toppings on their plate to suit their tastes. This family-friendly offering allows each individual member of the household to build their ideal meal. HelloFresh provides the main dish component along with various sides, toppings, and add-ons for families to pick from to complete their plate. The other thing I love about HelloFresh is the convenience. My life is super busy and sometimes I don't have time to think about what I want to make for dinner for the family, and that's where HelloFresh comes in. I think you'll love HelloFresh, and you can support the channel by clicking the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals and a free kids meal in every box for 2 months if you're local in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply.
Next up, we need 1.5 cups of half and half or whole milk and 4 whole eggs. Just crack them on in there. Try to look cool for the camera. Do it with one hand. We're gonna whisk this together. Hold the shells, please. And then this is gonna get poured on top of our casserole in the casserole dish. This is gonna kind of like hold everything together. And as you know, eggs are perfect with breakfast, but this is going to make that nice fluffy texture that you like, along with the potatoes. You got a full breakfast here. You got potatoes, you got eggs, you got cheese, you got bacon, sausage, peppers and onion. Beautiful symphony of flavor, and the kids will like it. Who doesn't like hash browns or tater tots? You can do this with either one. I like the tater tots mostly for presentation. It looks really nice. Gets nice and crispy on top, as you'll see here momentarily. All right guys, so now we're gonna go ahead and add our breakfast sausage to a cool skillet. Use your hands to really smash it down so it makes good surface area contact with the bottom of the skillet. That's gonna ensure we get some nice crust, which is gonna give some color and some flavor to our sausage. Once you have that in there, we're gonna go ahead and pop this bacon in a 400-degree oven until it gets nice and crispy. We're gonna use the bacon to top the casserole at the end. All right, so one of the most critical parts when you're searing any protein is to get a good crust on there. That's gonna add a few things. It's gonna add texture, it's gonna add color because you eat with your eyes first, and it's gonna add flavor. It's called the Maillard reaction. Not to get too scientific on you guys, but basically it's the caramelization of the protein, and it's gonna add tons of flavor. And everybody just likes it. Nobody wants to eat a great piece of sausage. So this is kind of what I'm talking about here. Try not to burn myself, but you want your sausage to have that nice crust on it. And that goes the same thing if you're making tacos, ground beef, burgers, whatever. You want to have a nice crust. Next up, in go the peppers and the onions. What I like about this part here is naturally, vegetables have quite a bit of water content in them. That water is going to come out during the cooking process, and that moisture is going to help us get up the fond off the bottom of the skillet. So just work them in there, working over medium heat here. Kind of sweat them down. When you hear somebody say sweat the onions or sweat the veggies, that's what they're referring to, is the moisture that's released from the veggies during the cooking process. And you could actually use that to scrape the bottom of the skillet to get up all that fond and flavor. Now, my friends, it's time to add some more flavor. We're going in with the dynamic duo of my AP and the hot AP. If you don't want any spice, guys, no big deal. You can leave that out. If you don't have my hot AP, just use a little cayenne or red pepper flakes. But the all-purpose seasoning is going to cover our flavor bases with salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, things of that nature. And the hot AP has some of that along with some jalapeno powder and cayenne. So just a little bit of that. Then I'm going to add a little MSG to the party. Totally optional. If you're one of those folks that wants to avoid MSG, no big deal. You can leave it out. And then last but not least, we're going in with some smoked paprika. The smokiness is going to play nicely with the sausage and the bacon. So we're going to add a little bit of that to the party as well. And then just give everything a mix. Next up, we're going to grate our own cheese. So we're using sharp cheddar or mild cheddar, whatever floats your boat. Both are really good in this recipe. You could also get crazy and add pepper jack, or if you have a favorite cheese, feel free to add it. But I do like to shred my own cheese. It just melts a little bit nicer. So we're going to break out the big box grater today, put a little elbow grease into it, and grate our cheddar cheese. We'll need a full pound of cheese for this recipe. It's a whole casserole, so don't freak out. Or do freak out and tell me about it in the comments. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grate this. Then we're going to mix it in. We're not really going to top it because we're going to top it with the tater tots. But it's going to be mixed in nice and cheesy. And now it's time to assemble our casserole. So for that, we need a bag of tater tots. This is way more than we need for this particular recipe, but all the specific measurements are listed for you down below. We're going to add some tater tots to the mixture, along with our sausage mixture with the peppers and the onions. So fold all that in there. Then we're going to add our cheese, a little more seasoning, add it to the casserole dish, and then add in the eggs. And then we'll top it with more tater tots for presentation. So let's get in there and mix that together. The frozen tater tots will start to cool this mixture nicely. That way our cheese doesn't get all clumpy and the eggs don't start cooking on us before they get in the oven. So that's why I like to do it like this in a mixing bowl. Then we're going to add about half of our cheese, and the other half is going to go under the last layer of tater tots. Next up, we got a 9x11 casserole dish. We're going to spray that down with a little cooking spray just to make sure nothing sticks. And then, my friends, we're going in with our casserole. So, just try to not spill it everywhere. Just fill it up. No flavor left behind. Just make it nice and even. You don't want to overfill it because the eggs do rise a little bit as they cook. This should be the proper amount here for this size casserole dish. Make sure everything is evenly distributed. And then we go in with our egg and milk mixture. So as you can see, we went ahead and added one last little coat of seasoning. Then I'm going to add my cheddar cheese here, just to make sure that it's nice and cheesy. You don't got to go too crazy with it because there's plenty of cheese in there too, but we're all about the cheese pool, people. So let's get that on top. And then the last layer is going to be tater tots. They're going to get nice and golden brown and crispy, making for a phenomenal topping for our breakfast casserole. All right, guys, we're fresh out of the oven. We let this rest for about 20 minutes to let it really come together and cool a little bit. This is the part where I say, brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, people, time for my favorite part of the job. Found my fork. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably going to be a fork drop recipe. Look at that. breakfast all in one bite.